Shalom. I want to start in 1 Samuel 13 and 19. Now, consider this scripture. Now there was no smith found throughout all the land of Israel. For the Philistines said, lest the Hebrews make them swords or spears. But all the Israelites went down to the Philistines to sharpen every man his share, and his counter, and his axe, his mattock. So the Philistines were an oppressive people, even from the even before, but from the times of David, when he was a young man, when he cut off the head of Goliath with his own sword, with his own tools and weaponry. So in this oppressive system, I'm just going to add this in there while I'm on the thought. Our warfare is not carnal, but mighty through the pulling down of strongholds through the Spirit of Yah. So even in this government that we're in now, which is, I don't claim to be in it, but we're affected by it if we don't know better, because he said my people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. So just as a drop a little dime or jewel in there, the devil, Satan, the system, believes in Yah and fears. So because they also fear Yah, they don't tell you that, but they fear him. The only advantage is to deceive Yah's people. And even within their laws, they have what they call remedies. But because the people of Yah, and the scripture says, the world's children are more wise than the children of Yah. Meaning that they have more understanding of how the world works because they're of the world. But there's remedies within the law. I'm trying to make another video about that at another time. But there's remedies within the law would allow you to be free. Use their own weapons against them, like David did Goliath. So as I move on, I want to show you in Daniel 3 through 30 how this beast system that was then is the same beast we're dealing with now, with the spiritual Israel and the physical Israel and the spiritual Israel and the spiritual Edomites or Esau, or as we see here, the Philistines. They're the same, just like the physical and the spiritual. It's both sides, the good and the evil. And they do the same things they did then as they're doing now. But the true, what to separate the true people of Yah is we stand despite of the adversary, despite of the opposition, despite of how things look, because we walk by faith, not by sight. So I'll read some scriptures, then I'll try to finish up. Daniel 3, 1. Daniel 3 and 1. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, all the rulers of province, to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Okay, I got to stop there. See, all these officers and offices just like the system today, they have all these people operating in the system to bring about idol worship, to make us bow down to a false image. And that's what this thing of being an American versus a United States citizen is all about. And if I can make it correlate in some kind of way, if you can just listen to what I'm saying, I'm not saying this is godly or this is that, but just trying to compare the two. So if we're an American, that means that's our Yahweh given right as people of the people living on the land with freedom. But now, all these positions that are set up under a foreign de facto corporation, that's what this was, a false image, false idol worship. And I don't have it right in front of me, but I can look for it, but I don't want to go for it. You can find it yourself now, or I'll show it to you another time. It says that no man, and I'm putting it in my own words, no man shall be subject to any religious code, so to speak, in order to have freedom. That's what there's something in the Constitution that says that, and I'll find it later and I'll make it plain. So we don't have to, by common law, we don't have to rightly bow down to these things. Now they will come against you, just like they're doing here, but if you stand up in righteousness and give their own laws back to them, where it says this is what it says, and stand on it, it says stand and Satan and the enemy will flee from you. So that's just another thought. Now back to the scriptures. And all the rulers of provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. See, this is something he set up. This is not Yah. Then the princes, this is Daniel's 3:3. Then the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up, and they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Verse 4. Then a herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages. See, they make all people to worship this false idol, this false system, under the guise of a U.S. citizen, which is basically a foreign corporation. So when they make people do this, they're taking you away from Yah and making you become a citizen of a foreign corporation which does not exist. So that means that makes you non-existent. Then a herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, verse 5, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. So this whole system, political, religious, all coming together, everything that's put out there for us to bow down to it and take us away from Yah. And Yah is a jealous Elohim. Verse 6. And whosoever falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Basically, you're going to be targeted. Verse 7, therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. They got driver's licenses, they got registrations, they did all these things that this corporate foreign state said you must do, which Yah said you don't have to have that. But they do it under the guise that you must have it so they can get money out of you and also take you out of Yah's jurisdiction and put you in their jurisdiction. Now you're subject to them as a slave. Let me move on to the next video.